Signature Billy Bryan's drumming. One of the things about our music I always appreciated in terms of working with this band was each and every one of the musicians basically had a specific way that they played their instrument that was really unique. And Dave Gray's, guitar riff is part of it. We always saw our music as part of a larger conversation, and every part that we played was meant to involve the whole conversation, right? And this is a perfect example of it, especially when we break down to the a cappella part you're going to hear later. This song was inspired by a trip that Laurie Conger, who's the keyboard player, Lynn Fernie, who was the writer, one of the writers for Rise Up, and myself took to Mexico. And we had met a Mayan Indian in Isla Mujeres, whose name translated to At the Feet of the Moon. So we met him, it was interesting. We do a trip inland, and we end up in this kind of crazy Spanish colonial hotel. And the girls go out to, shop or whatever, and I fall asleep into this kind of crazy hallucinogenic dream state. I wake up sweating and, crazy. And the words, I saw your shadow, you were dancing at the feet of the moon, were right there. And the lyrics for the song were right there, as if somebody had sort of delivered them to me in my sleep. And I realized in many ways this song was really about the Mayan culture, because I had a fascination with Mayan culture and everything, meeting this Mayan gentleman. And so this song became about that. And it became about the mysteries of life, right? And then the interesting thing is, so when we came back to record it for our second record, our producer, Michael Beinhorn, who is the producer for Chili Peppers and Material and whatever, of all the songs in our repertoire, this was the one song he hated. He did not like the song. And we actually thought that this would be our first single for the record. And he did not, really. And so there was this kind of a little bit of a tug of war about it. But it turned out to be the first single, and it turned out in many ways this record sold more records than our first record, Rise Up. And this is a 5-minute song, so I have to keep talking through the 5 minutes, right? Here's the other thing that we did that was unusual for the time, which was we always like to have these huge bridges, transitional devices between choruses and the choruses out. So this album version is 5 minutes long, and so now we're going to come to, I'm hoping we're going to come to the a cappella part. Here it comes. Oh, it's a double chorus. I'm so sorry. Yeah, caught between systems, this magical light. It sort of speaks to the part of us that we're really into esoteric kind of spiritual things, and just the mysteries of life. And this part here is the part that everybody sings to me. And they never get it right. Because it seems easy enough, but it's not. So when we're playing live, this moment in a crowd is exhilarating. A whole crowd of people going shadababoop-a-doo-yay. Yeah. Deborah Samuel was the photographer for this, and she did video for Feet of the Moon also. This thing that we do here was very much, we were totally into the kind of dancing that we used to see in kind of African dancing that inspired us. So we were always trying to dance. The boys were not as good as the girls, but you know, what can you do? Feet of the Moon.
Well, actually, this was February, and we couldn't absolutely not shoot this thing in Montreal in the snowbanks and everything. So we took the whole band down to the Dominican Republic to shoot the video.